Here's every upcoming Isekai anime. You got like 100 in 2022. So go ahead and Isekai smash that thumbs up. The non-Isekai videos next time. But don't worry, you have some juicy anime sequels this time. And a special thank you to this week's sponsor, Another Eden. It's time! You have this Chrono Cross crossover story available. It is written by Masato Kato, the writer for the Chrono series and Another Eden. And I know what you're thinking, but don't worry, these characters are not locked behind gacha or a paywall. Just by playing, you're gonna get them. So go ahead and relive the Chrono Cross experience, especially with Lynx, Starkey, and Glenn. On top of this, Chrono fans will love the exclusive music by the original Chrono series composer, Yasunori Mitsuda. You'll also love the unique Chrono mechanics, including this new game plus, multiple endings, and more. So come and jump into Another Eden. You got this immersive story, the kick-ass soundtrack, the detailed characters, and the world building. You could go ahead and play on your iOS or Android from the link down below for free. It also is available globally on Steam. I'm personally just getting a kick out of all of this nostalgia. Come on, I can't be the only one. Come get the full JRPG experience. The crossover stories for Persona 5 Royal and the Tales series, both of them are permanently available in Another Eden. Overlord Season 4. How appropriate, Overlord Season 4 news just dropped. The Great Bone Daddy returns. Hopefully this time it won't be this big ass CG fest. Some of you know I'm a fan of Overlord, the light novel that is. Cause honestly I did enjoy the first season of Overlord, but then the second and third season just does not do the series justice. Which is actually why I've more been enjoying the Overlord cast over in Isekai Quartet. I think at this point I'm just settling for watching some of my favorite scenes, hopefully making it into the anime. Can Overlord Season 4 do more than that? So let me know, are you hyped for Overlord? Especially if you have read the light novels. Maybe I'll do a video on this when it comes out. The Slimy Isekai, aka Tensura, the movie. You definitely know how much I just freaking love the Slimy Isekai series. Just like you heard me predict recently, a lot of anime are going to the big leagues and getting their own movie release. So I'm hoping this is gonna get better animation. I do feel that's really one of the only things Tensura is lacking, just to give it that extra push. For me, it is really no surprise. Tensura is massive in Japan, and especially popular among females. My butt is gonna be in theaters on day 1. Let me know if you're hyped too. The Shield Hero Season 2. Originally, I was beyond shocked Shield Hero even got a sequel announcement, since Season 1 kinda had this anime original ending. Not to mention, Shield Hero is not at all popular here in Japan. Thankfully, thanks to Crunchyroll, and perhaps even thanks to that fricking BS controversy, Shield Hero exploded in popularity. I don't know about you, but I just want to see more of Tanya. Season 1 cut out so much of Best Girl, or gave her scenes to someone else. At the very least, Shield Hero has earned a seat in Isekai Quartet in the meantime. So definitely let me know, are you hyped or do you just not care? What do you think about 𝘾𝙗𝙗? The Goblin Slayer Season 2. Okay, not an isekai, but a fantasy anime. So really controversy the anime. You might recall my video on this series. I wasn't too bombastic about it, but at the same time I didn't think this needed to be cancelled, which is why I was later surprised it even got that theater special, which didn't at all tease a sequel if I recall. I'm not really hyped for this, but I will be watching this. Are you hungry for more Goblin Slayer? I do recall my favorite character from this easily being that elf girl. Please, more of her. I mean, the figure they made for her was really kick-ass. The Bookworm Isekai Season 3. So mine inner craving for books returns. Feels like this isekai isn't talked about too much, but it is extremely popular for the hardcore fanbase. Not to mention, this is another light novel isekai series that's actually getting a 3rd season in such a short time period. That itself is an accomplishment. Mine truly got a blessing. Bofuri Season 2. Oh hell yes, overpowered Maple returns. You might have recalled me freaking loving the first season, and it really only helped it was coming from Silverlink Studio, with some unexpectedly great animation pieces. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for round 2. I'm only a little sad to hear that the app game for this actually recently closed. Even the OP Maple couldn't stop that. Talking about games, Princess Connect Season 2. This was actually directed by the same guy that made Konosuba. I would bet you like 100 rice balls they told the director, do that over here. And can you blame them? It worked extremely well. The only huge negative for me was that potato of a main character. Please, Season 2, put him in the backside or get rid of him. I'm really just watching for all the cute girls. I mean, they're so enjoyable, I've been so close to pulling the trigger and getting one of their figures. I'm looking at the cat girl, I don't know about you. Mushoku Tensei. Unfortunately, not Season 2 yet. So I'm kinda cheating a little bit. Unfortunately, the anime has skipped over Eris' own Goblin Slayer adventure. In fact, the anime sliced out huge chunks for Eris and her character being fleshed out, along with the world building that came with it. Hopefully this brings some of that back for anime-only people. I'm also hoping that Mushoku Tensei Season 2 gets announced in a few days from now. If it does, go ahead and sound down below. The Devil is a Part-Timer Season 2. This, along with Bleach, really does prove the anime miracles can happen. Original fans will notice a character design change and a change in animation, but really, I don't mind. If you haven't seen this reverse isekai yet, definitely check it out. You got the demon lord coming over to our world and working at McDonald's. I'm really just extremely curious to find out whether they're going to be adapting more of it. Let's just say light novel readers are super salty over future events. And after being spoiled, I can't say I don't understand. You might even get this quintessential quintuplet vibe. Made in Abyss Season 2. Not an isekai, but a fantasy anime. Of course, not too long ago you did get the Made in Abyss movie, which felt more like a rest stop than actually diving further into this mystery. Yet again, this is another anime series that I'm surprised is getting a Season 2. Not because it's not good, not because it's not popular, but since I am a manga reader. In case you didn't know, the manga gets a new chapter like at a snail's pace. Like the One Piece manga might end before this reaches its end. And do you want to feel old? Did someone say Avengers? Made in Abyss Season 1 was in 2012. It's gonna be a decade. The Misfit of the Demon King Academy Season 2. So yes, the One Punch Man of fantasy anime returns. Technically not an isekai, but something like a time leap? Once again, you're gonna hear me being surprised that this is getting a Season 2. 2 juicy cores. Since you may recall that the anime was rushing to conclude the story in the second half of the first season, I'm really just wondering how much more of the story is there to tell? I will just point out that the main character voice actor did get changed since that asshole got outed for cheating on his wife, Lisa. So fuck him. Unfortunately, as a massive Lisa fan, this has sadly tainted Season 1 for me. Either way, let's see if Season 2 can deliver. Tanya the Terrible Season 2. I'm sorry Tanya, but your series is definitely at the bottom for the Isekai Quartet cast. Up until now she's been in that anime and the movie, but no Season 2 announcement till recently. I don't know about you, but I've been really curious to just jump into the light novel, since the anime doesn't really show you how cuckoo and demented Tanya truly is. While doing research for this, I also just found out that Tanya does have her own game. It's still running, by the way. Danmachi Season 4, another non-isekai but fantasy anime. I'm really curious to see how you've been enjoying the anime, because for me, so far there's been ups and downs. Some arcs are better than others, but I do feel the anime is cutting out so much of the world and lore. I'm not a light novel reader, so I'm really just curious to see where the story goes. Kuma Bear Season 2. I think a lot of you missed this isekai anime, especially the Season 2 announcement. For me going in, I had no expectations, but I really ended up loving Season 1. I really had this Bofuri vibe, and it actually even got me reading the Japanese light novel. As long as you get more of what you got in Season 1, I'm gonna be pretty happy. By the Grace of the Gods Season 2. I wonder how many of you even saw this one. You got this character that got a isekai that actually gets control of some slimes and starts his own washing company. Not gonna lie, I almost fell asleep watching this. Is anyone hyped for this? I'm extremely curious. Spirit Chronicles Season 2. This is an isekai anime from this year that felt super generic. You even have this Kirito lookalike. Season 1 almost ended with this middle finger to the audience, that they were clearly setting up stuff for Season 2, but it just ended. For whatever reason, there was a delay between the end of Season 1 and the sequel announcement. On a positive note, it actually did leave me with some hope by the end of the story, so I actually am curious to see where they take the story. Tsukimichi Season 2. Whether fairly or unfairly, the start of this felt like a budget slimy isekai. It clearly didn't help that you were getting so much slime Tensei this year. Something I did love about this was, despite there being this obvious harem, you do have the two main girls actually having something going for them besides gushing over the main character. I wasn't expecting a Season 2, I'm not terribly hyped for it, but I will check it out. How about you? The Isekai Quartet movie. You're just printing cash with this. If anything, the only thing I'm shocked about is that it didn't get released this year. Come on, what's keeping this? It's not like you have some super high quality god tier animation for that. For something fun, how about placing some bets? Which new isekai anime do you want joining the cast? Maybe someone from Tensura, Rudy, Maple. You know that at the very least someone is going to be making a cameo. The Villainess Movie. So yet another isekai anime, or anime in general, getting that level up on the big screen. Which really just means no one is safe from Bacarina. How huge can her harem expand into? The cherry on top is Silver Link returning. Arifureta Season 2. So season 1 for this was a big oof. It got delayed, and then when it ultimately came out, season 1 was horribly abridged, and they just butchered the hell out of the source material. So, will season 2 be any better? I don't think they could do worse. I'm not shocked about this getting a sequel, but I am shocked about the horrible adaptation, given that the light novel is pretty popular in Japan. Just notice there is a slight change in the studio, and change in director too, so I think that's a good sign. Again, you can't do worse than before, can you? How a Realist rebuilt a nation season 2. So go ahead and be brutally honest about this, because I will. Season 1 so far has been terribly dull. I think for me it peaked on that food episode. From light novel source reader buddies, I have heard that the anime horribly rushed season 1. So hopefully season 2 slows down a bit. The Genius Princess Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt. Wait, didn't I just talk about this already? It feels like almost the identical concept, one of them being a isekai, this one being a fantasy, in the same anime season 2. So here's placing money that one of these is going to be overshadowed, maybe even both of them will. The strongest sage of disqualified crest. So you got the main character being reborn as a son of this duke family. The guy ultimately wants to restore magic and swordsmanship to this fantasy area. The main character himself is ranked at the bottom, but may secretly be overpowered. Let me just clarify, this is technically not a isekai, but the guy being reborn into the future. Same world. Honestly, the trailer screams generic isekai, and JC staff isn't doing it any favors. World of leadale. So get this, you have this main character that's been on life support, and her only freedom has actually been diving into this MMORPG world. Eventually, she perishes due to her illness, but thankfully she wakes up isekai 200 years into the future in that game world. So, Overlord anyone? Although for me, I got this immediate SAO vibe for poor Yuki. I don't know if you're into these type of stories, but I am. Bring it on. Fantasy Bishoujo. You got two characters summoned into this other world. The twist here is that one of the characters is now turned into this beautiful girl. Did someone say Tanya? So now the guy actually has to go with his best friend and defeat the Demon King to get his original body back. I don't know dude, at this point just give up and accept that you're this kawaii girl. This is a comedy and just by the premise, I'm already looking forward to it. The Sword Isekai. Oh, you want to be isekai and be overpowered? Fine, but you get to be a tool. So right off the bat you have the slave cat girl lowly plus a sword? Oh yes, sign me right up. All I need right now is a fridge anime, where is that? The Isekai Harem. For a quick explanation, just imagine Shield Hero, but instead the main character bangs all of his female party members. And the light novel isn't even apologetic about it. In fact, the first female party member, the doggy girl, actually gives you this anime rough Talia vibe. Did someone say controversy again? I just guarantee you guys will be enjoying their solo time watching this anime, with one hand. The Skeleton Knight in Another World. Hey Ainz, is that you? Did you get lost? So the twist on this isekai adventure is what you're already thinking. This guy is reborn as a skeleton knight. He's got powerful weapons, powerful armor, skills. I mean, this guy even finds himself in a game world. Really, the only notable thing I can mention about this is that the anime may potentially be extremely bloody. Tensei Kenja no Isekai Life. You got this main character working for a black company that's summoned over. Right away he becomes a monster tamer, masters magic, becomes a sage, and really gets overpowered. Another isekai power fantasy? Check. The Uncle Isekai. So get this, you have this old dude that actually got isekai'd while being in a coma, only to actually go back to his original world 17 years later. The extra flavor on this reverse isekai is that he actually kept all the powers he gained on the other side. So now you have this powerful dude that also has to adapt to new things like smartphones, internet, and those things. Combine all of these elements with it being a comedy, I'm looking forward to this. The SAO Progressive Movie, the second one. You know I'm a hardcore SAO fan and I freaking loved this year's first movie. I'm really only getting scared that they're already jumping to the 5th floor next year. I was looking forward to a yearly SAO, floor by floor. I mean, just look at the box office. This has already made several times what the last movie did. It's not like there's a ton of SAO content out there from the source material, but we'll see how this turns out. I'll be there on day 1, on weekend 1 multiple times. Hopefully I can watch this a month and a half early again. So go ahead and comment below which anime has you hyped. Represent! And do check out the last video. Subscribe and ring the bell, cause the non-isekai video is coming up. Check out the last video and I'll see you guys later.